Welcome back, English 10, to another episode of Explaining the Explanatory Essay. Today, we're going to talk about specifically the outline portion of this. So, before I even talk about any of this, I do want to point out that all of this is exactly what you did up here. Now, I need to show you that it's going to be very easy to tell if you copied from me because I made up some of these quotes or I didn't find the actual page numbers. That's not something you can do. The only reason why I'm doing it is to show you examples of how to do this in general. So if you steal one of my quotes and you say, "Hey, this is on page 9," and it's not probably actually on page 9, it's going to be pretty easy to tell that you're plagiarizing me. So, do your work. With that being said, here's how to fill out the outline. What I always do is I always start with the quotes and the stuff that we did before. So you have a quote right here, and look, I even said, hey, your first text, you're going to use this for body paragraph number 1, second text for body paragraph 2, third text for body paragraph 3. So you go down to your outline, to the part that's marked outline, find body paragraph number 1 from your first text chosen on the previous page. You find quote number 1, and you just paste it in there. Easy peasy. That explanation you wrote about how the author uses fear, copy it in, explain quote number 1. Oh, look, paste it in there. You already did the work, now you're just organizing it. So you have these quotes, and you're going to say, like, hey, quote number 2, I'm going to put it here, quote number 1. So let's put quote number 2 in there, just for sake of being thorough. We're going to say, hey, this is our second quote. And here's our explanation of the second quote. So we've already put in our 2 quotes and our explanations. Now let's finish up this body paragraph. Let's start with transition words. So in order to use a transition word, we have tons and tons of transition words we can talk about. We can use ones that add on to the previous idea, compare with previous ideas, prove a point, show time and sequence, give an example, to summary or conclude, to emphasize, or to repeat. I'm probably going to use to show time and sequence to start my paragraph, using like the word first or something similar to first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say transition first, comma, introductory sentence. We're just introducing our body paragraph, and I'm going to say something along the lines of click clack, the rattle bag uses fear by, and then you can obviously fill in the rest of that sentence yourself. I'm not going to give you all the answers. Sorry, guys. So there's an introductory sentence. Hey, I'm introducing the fact that I'm talking about click clack the rattle bag. So that's how I'm introducing it. Then you have to introduce the quote. You can do it as simple as saying in this quotation from the story, we see, and then fill it in because I'm not going to give you all the answers. And then very similar to over here, you're going to do more or less the same thing. This quotation shows, and then you're going to quote number 2, explain quote number 2, and you're already more or less done with your first body paragraph. The only thing that you've got left is your concluding sentence. And you can say something like this. From the examples shown above, it's clear that what? What's clear? How can you conclude it? How can you summarize what you've been saying? And that's how you're going to fill in each of these body paragraphs. Something very similar to along this lines. You don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it, but I would suggest going very similar in terms of starting with the quotes and the explanations, then going to filling in the rest of the paragraph. All right, later on, we will talk about the introduction paragraph and our concluding paragraph, and then we're almost done with the planning process.